The Pentagon has been running an emergency meeting for 14 hours. No decision, no announcement, no press conference. And every hour of that silence slowed down is exactly what Iran calculated, planned for, and is counting on. Tonight we are not going to talk about missiles. We are not going to count aircraft or measure craters on satellite images. Tonight we are going to talk about something far more dangerous than any weapon Iran has fired. We are going to talk about arithmetic. Because Iran is not trying to win this war the way wars are usually won. Iran is not trying to destroy the American military. Iran is trying to make the cost of continuing more unbearable than the cost of stopping. And as of this morning, the math is working. Stay with me, because the number at the center of all of this has not been made public. And when you hear it, you will understand why. There is a principle taught at the United States Army War College called cost imposition. It does not require advanced military theory. It requires only arithmetic. The most effective weapon in any sustained conflict is not the one that destroys the most on a single day. It is the one that forces the adversary to spend more defending against it than it costs to launch it. The one that turns every successful defense into a financial loss. Iran understood this doctrine, emphasized this, not in 2026, but while watching the United States Navy fire $4.03 million Raytheon SM-2 missiles to intercept $20,000 Houthi drones over the Red Sea through all of 2023 and 2024. Iran watched the burn rate. Iran read every public Congressional Budget Office assessment of American missile stockpile adequacy. Every RAND Corporation analysis of interceptor replenishment timelines. Every Senate testimony describing inventories as critically low. Iran read what America published. Iran did the math. A single Patriot PAC-3 interceptor costs $5.09 million. An Iranian Fatha 110 ballistic missile costs between $800,000 and $1.02 million to produce. Iran built a strategic campaign around a manufacturing bottleneck. That is not improvisation, that is 20 years of watching, calculating, and waiting for the moment when the arithmetic was maximally in their favor. March 2026 is that moment, but here is where it gets serious. Because on the night of March 11th, Iran didn't just launch missiles. Iran executed a mathematical proof. Between 1:48 a.m. and 32 a.m. local time, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps launched a confirmed minimum of 47 ballistic missiles simultaneously across 4 American bases in 3 countries. Camp Arifjan in Kuwait. Naval Support Activity Bahrain. Al Dhafra Air Base in Abu Dhabi. Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. U.S. CENTCOM reported an intercept rate of 74%. Slow down 74% sounds like success. Understand what 26% means. 26% of 47 missiles is 12 missiles that were not intercepted. 12 missiles that found their targets. Camp Arifjan. 3 impacts. 14 confirmed American fatalities. Al Dhafra. 4 impacts, 7 dead, including 2 Emirati ground crew. 4 B-52 Stratofortresses destroyed on the ground. Aircraft that cost $550 million each to replace. Bahrain. 3 impacts. 9 dead. USS Dwight D. Eisenhower ordered immediately to sea. Prince Sultan. 2 impacts. 3 dead. Runway and communications systems degraded. 33 confirmed American and Allied fatalities in 90 minutes. That is the military headline. But that is not the strategic story. Iran did not launch 47 missiles to kill 33 Americans. Iran launched 47 missiles to force the United States to fire an unknown quantity of $5.09 million Patriot PAC-3 rounds from stockpiles it cannot rapidly replenish. In a single night, even if every intercept succeeded, America spent approximately $178 million in interceptors defending against a barrage that cost Iran at maximum $56 million to launch. $56 million spent. $178 million response forced. A 3.2 to 1 cost exchange ratio, in Iran's favor, in a single 90-minute window, sustain that ratio across 30 days. And the arithmetic does what Iran needs it to do. And this is the part nobody is talking about. Because the number that decides whether America can keep defending its bases is classified. But the outline of that number has already leaked. And it is not comfortable. Raytheon Technologies currently produces PAC-3 interceptors at approximately 550 per year. The United States deploys thousands of them across theaters, globally. The Middle East, Europe's eastern flank, the Pacific. The same stockpile serves all 3. The RAND Corporation's 2025 assessment, published in September and available in unclassified form, described PAC-3 interceptor inventories as critically constrained against scenarios involving sustained multi-axis attack. The scenario that played out on March 11th is a sustained multi-axis attack. And it was not the last one Iran has the capacity to launch. Here is what makes this genuinely serious. Open source analysis suggests Iran requires 14 to 21 days, minimum to reconstitute a barrage of equivalent scale. The U.S. replenishment timeline for PAC-3 from continental U.S. reserves. According to supply chain analysis, is 6 to 9 months. Pause. Iran reloads in 3 weeks. America restocks in 6 months. If a second barrage arrives before American interceptor stockpiles are replenished, and it can, the intercept rate in the second engagement will be lower than 74%. Lower than 74% on a 47-missile barrage produces more than 12 impacts. More than 12 impacts produces more than 33 fatalities. And there is a dimension to this that extends beyond the Middle East entirely. The PAC-3 batteries protecting NATO's eastern flank, repositioned there after Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022, draw from the same global stockpile, deplete the Middle East reserves to defend Gulf bases, and a vulnerability opens in Europe. Russia's general staff is calculating that gap at this moment. Iran may or may not have designed its barrage schedule to produce this compound effect across 2 theaters simultaneously. The effect is real whether Iran designed it or not, which brings us to the fracture inside the American government, because the decision that needs to be made is sitting on the president's desk right now. And the reason it hasn't been signed is the most consequential thing happening in this conflict. There is a fracture inside the American government, and it is not the one the headlines are describing. It is not between Washington and Jerusalem, though that fracture is widening. It is between the Pentagon and the White House. Short silence. The Joint Chiefs have a position. General Commander has presented a targeting package, 17 aim points across 5 Iranian provinces. Ballistic missile production facilities, launcher storage depots, solid fuel propellant plants, precision guidance manufacturing sites, command and control nodes. The military's argument is structurally correct. Slow down. You cannot defend indefinitely against an adversary generating offensive capacity faster than you can consume it. At some point, the only rational response is to strike the factory. The White House has a different position. Authorization for strikes on Iranian missile production facilities inside Iran proper has not been granted. Not because the case hasn't been made. Emphasize this, the case is sitting on the president's desk. Authorization is withheld because striking inside Iran, at industrial targets, at production infrastructure, escalates this conflict from an exchange of military strikes to a direct American war against the Iranian state itself. That threshold cannot be uncrossed. The distance between what the military needs to solve the problem and what the political leadership can authorize slow down is the gap where 33 Americans died last night. And the public signal of that gap was the Pentagon statement issued the morning of March 11th, which contained this phrase, "We are evaluating all options available to us." Anyon, who has covered American military decision-making, recognizes that phrase immediately. Evaluating all options is not a statement of intent. Emphasize this, it is a statement of paralysis dressed in the language of deliberation. It means the decision has not been made, and the thing it needs to communicate cannot yet be said. Iran read that statement too, and Iran knows exactly what it means, because Iran designed the situation that produced it. Pull back from the individual events and look at what Iran has executed as a sequence. Move 1. The February 24th strike on Camp Arifjan, Kuwait. 67 Americans killed in a single event. The message, American bases are not hardened. American casualties at scale are a political reality this administration must manage. Move 2. The IRGC's public announcement on March 9th about political leadership targeting. 4 words delivered to the world. His fate is unclear. The message, political decision-makers are inside Iran's targeting calculus. The U.S.-Israeli alliance is under strain severe enough that envoys have been stood down. Move 3. March 11th, 47 missiles, 4 bases, 3 countries, 33 fatalities, unknown interceptor expenditure, Pentagon emergency meeting. No strike authorization. Each move has been designed not only for its immediate military effect, but for what it adds to the cumulative picture Iran is painting for every audience watching this conflict. For the American public counting casualties and gas prices simultaneously. For Gulf state governments calculating whether American security guarantees are worth the risk of hosting bases that are clearly hittable. For NATO allies watching an alliance framework absorb strikes it was never designed for. For global financial institutions making trillion-dollar decisions based on how long this lasts. Pause. Iran is not pursuing military victory. Iran is pursuing the exhaustion threshold, the specific point at which the accumulated political cost of continuing crosses the threshold at which a negotiated exit becomes more viable than continuation. Every missile fired, every interceptor expended, every dollar added to oil prices, now at $131 per barrel, is Iran adding weight to one side of that scale, and here is the climax of what that arithmetic is building toward. The number that ends this when it arrives. This conflict does not end when Iran fires its last missile. Iran is not close to its last missile. This conflict does not end when America destroys every IRGC production facility it can reach. Dispersed manufacturing and 20 years of redundant investment mean strikes degrade, but do not eliminate, Iranian capacity. This conflict does not end when a ceasefire is announced, because the conditions that made the conflict possible are not resolved by a ceasefire.